Good morning, everyone. Myself Jaya Agarwal, Assistant Professor Political Science from SPCGC Ajmer. This is paper 5th of MA final. Name of the paper is Political Analysis and Research Methodology. I welcome you all once again in my this video where we will study about reality regarding development of research methodology. This is today's topic for our video, reality regarding development of research methodology. So let's start. This is the bitter truth that classical thinkers, that is, who consider themselves classical or traditional thinkers, are not proper idealistic. It is generally an assumption that all the classical thinkers who consider themselves being classical or traditional are proper idealistic, and they emphasize on values. But for other thinkers or scholars, as they think that they are not proper idealistic, we cannot say that their emphasize these thinkers emphasize only on idealistic approach, although values, feelings, etc. are the core element of their thought. Despite this, they resort to facts, empirical studies to make these values more useful for mankind. Here we have explained that how these classical thinkers are not proper idealistic, because where they emphasize on values, feelings, etc., ideas, but they also need support of facts, empirical studies, if they want to make these values more useful for mankind. Otherwise it will be total wastage of time if they do not take support of facts, empirical studies, or scientific methods as far as their values are the core element for themselves. And by hook or by crook, they present their thought in the context of political facts and human society. It is imperative to prove why a value or one value is superior to other values, and this quest needs empirical studies, facts, observation, or other scientific aspects. This is an example or an instance. If a classical thinker wants to prove that so many values are there for him, but if he want to prove that one value is superior to other values, then he will have to prove that. And when he will prove them, then he will take then he will go for empirical studies, facts, etc., scientific methods. Then only he can prove that one value is superior to other values. Here comes the that on the whole we can say that a classical thinker is not totally idealistic. He may be that it may be that his total focus is on idealism, but uh, to some extent he will have to take support of facts, empirical studies, and scientific methods to his studies. This is the classical thinkers aspects. Despite being of different aspects, as far as human society is concerned, certain conditions, circumstances are there, and more or less equality is also there along with dissimilarities. It makes possible the origin and existence of the state, government, law, social life, tradition, language, etc. The reality is that similarities are more common than similarities in human society. These similarities, dissimilarities have various types, levels, patterns, but they can be known only through systematic, regular study of human behavior under the given conditions. If on the basis of general awareness and experience, a person can interpret and predict about the social incidents. Why political scientists cannot, who have a systematic study of every aspect of this discipline? Our ignorance and fear increases the complexity uh, of the political and social incidents. Therefore, need of the hour is that scientific methods and techniques should be developed for our discipline, which has been required since so long. So here we have covered 2 points. First one is similarities and dissimilarities. When we discuss about similarities and dissimilarities, it is a well-known fact that in each and every society or country or wherever something is there, then 101% it is sure that there will be similarities and dissimilarities regarding each and every sphere of life or aspect of life. But we can see that it is common that similarities are more common than dissimilarities, but we can't ignore dissimilarities as well, because state government and another organization, law, language, tradition, whichever whichever tangible and intangible things are there, their existence depends, their existence is because of dissimilarities. That means dissimilarities is the cause behind the existence of these things. That's why we can't ignore dissimilarities. And for some scholars, this can be as a drawback of political science, but we as a student, or we as the you know political scientists, we do not we cannot consider this fact that the similarities uh, have worked as an obstacle for the development of political science and its scientific methods. Actually, these similarities and both and dissimilarities both are equally important for our discipline. Next one is that it is said that prediction is not possible in our discipline, but for some scholars, we cannot say that prediction is not possible in our discipline. It is as possible as for other science, other social sciences. We are not talking here about natural sciences. And to prove this, the scholars give example of a common man who can predict on the basis of his general awareness and experience what is going to be happen in near future. So they, according to them, if a general person, a common man can predict like that, that why cannot political scientists who have so experience, so empirical studies he has done, and such scientific methods, and so vast knowledge of each and everything he has, then why he cannot? This is the main reality for our subject, that despite being so many drawbacks and shortcomings, our discipline has the potential for the development of research methodology itself. Thank you very much. That's all for today from my side. Thank you very much.